Aloha Warriors, Sensei Joshua Loya from Guardian Quest Martial Arts and Blind Community Martial Arts, and of course with me, as always, Sensei Andrea Loya.
Aloha.
Also from Guardian Quest and Blind Community Martial Arts. Today, as promised, second technique in the Guardian two-hand series. This technique is a very basic defense, primarily applied, it defends against haymaker, wild roundhouse punches. So I'm going to go ahead and face Sensei Andrea real quick so you can kind of see the kind of punch that I would otherwise hit. I'm not actually going to hit her. She's not even going to defend. If I'm bringing a big old wild punch coming around towards her, this is what this technique is going to defend against. There are some other applications, but we're not going to get into those here. All right, so again, that's good, like a good angle to where, and by the way, I'm not going to actually punch her today, just for purposes of safety. I'm going to use an open hand strike, so in the event that she does not block it, that the impact to her is going to be as minimal as possible. This is how I recommend everybody train this technique, at least when you're first starting out. All right, good angle here.
Let's take a step to your right.
To my right, okay.
And then go more like this. Okay. That way they can see the arm when I block. Good. Yeah, perfect.
All right, so again, she has her fingers and thumbs together, and she has one hand close to my wrist, kind of that bottom third of my forearm, and the other hand at the bottom half of my bicep. All right, so again, she's keeping a good frame, keeping her elbows in. She's not extending over much. She's letting her shoulders drop down, so it's all skeletal. It's not about whether she's stronger than I am. So I'm going to go ahead and hit one more time.
Okay.
Again, she has that here. The beautiful thing is, because she has such a solid frame here, she has really good footing right now. But if I was much stronger, much bigger than her, and she kept this frame, but she didn't have good footwork, if she flew backwards.
Oh, we'll have to show that from a different angle.
Let's do that from a different angle here. If she flies backwards, she has, as long as she has that good frame, she prevents herself from being hit anyway. Now, we're going to show you the footwork towards the end of the video, but for right now, we just wanted to show you the value of having a solid frame. It's, again, if it feels like you have to use a lot of muscle in order to do this, you might need to adjust your position. Let that shoulder lock down into the joint. Let it be all about the frame, the structure. If you're too far in, it'll just collapse. If you're too far out, you'll actually lock out your elbows. You want it right about here. You see this? I don't know if they can see this right here.
Yes.
Okay, so you see how there's a little bit of a...
You can even stay there.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of show.
Right? So that allows me to keep it. Now, worst case scenario, I'm just going to go fly back and I'm going to have to catch my footing, but at least I still didn't get hit. And of course, if I am able to keep my position here, then from here, I can move into doing like an outside hammer fist. So if she's here, I've already blocked.
So let's see, here, right?
I can even come in here straight up, but that's not what this technique is today. Today, we're just going over that block because it's part of the two-hand series. One single move each section within the series. Upgrades. We like upgrades. We like it when you get tricky. So just review on our chops, because the last two variations that I'm going to show you today are variations based on chops. As a reminder, Guardian chops are a little different than you might see in some other knife hand blocks in other styles. It's not flat. I want to get close enough.
Mm-hmm. A little to up a little bit more. Okay.
Here. So it's not flat like this, right? Now, if I hit here or with my forearm, which is what a lot of styles are doing, that's going to be fine. If I hit with my fingers, I'm much more likely to hurt my fingers. Very subtle shift. If I take this thumb, I bring it up, that is going to create a little bit of a curve, so it can actually hold some water. But the idea is that reinforces my finger, which then is next to my other finger, which is next to my other finger, which is next to my pinky. And that, in the event that I don't hit with the fleshy part of my hand, which is my ideal, I keep the impact from having an adverse effect on my finger as much as it would otherwise. So with that, we're going to do what's called a double vertical chop in the same area of the arm that we were doing the two-hand block. So let's get that right angle.
Okay, let's do
This one. All right, and so as you here, and let's show the angle.
Yeah, there we go.
And so you see her inside hand is right at the bottom half of my bicep, and then her hand that's closest to my hand is in that bottom third of my forearm. So she can come straight in, and then the final of the three that we're going to show you today is, and this requires a certain level of practice to skill. You're not going to probably get this your first day unless you have experience in other arts. She comes in, scoops in further, and then comes towards the wrist. So they both go in the same arc. So they both come in and then out towards the wrist. And go ahead and hit me with a little bit of force so they can kind of see that. If you get it just right, and you meanwhile they're swinging in at you, that's going to have a very real chance of deadening that arm for just a moment to give you a little bit more response time. Now, of course, you can't rely on that, but if you want to get nasty and a little bit tricky, it's kind of a fun variation. We like to keep things simple, so that's why we teach you the basic version, the two-hand block version. But of course, as you gain in your skill, you can absolutely do the double vertical chop version and the scooping version. And then the last thing I want to show you is the detail on the footwork for this. Now, the detail on the footwork, I'm going to stand here as if somebody is facing me and they're going to be swinging from the direction that you are looking if you're looking at the through the eyes of the camera. So I'm going to bring my hands up because I always want to have my hands up in guard. I'm going to step forward with that inside leg, and I'm going to turn towards the hand, and I have a staggered stance. So that in this case, my left leg is further forward than my right, and so it's not just square where I'm going to fall backwards. I have it it's much, much easier for me to stand my ground if I have to. And again, if I have good arm position, I'm going to be able to withstand that, but I want to be able to do that with as much solid base as I can. I want to be able to move as quickly as I can. I want to move on my terms, not on the bad guy's terms. So I'm going to do this one more time, a little bit faster, but still fairly slow, and then I'm going to do it fastest, closer to the speed that I would do it. And really, it's just a simple step and a 90-degree pivot. We'll go ahead and sign out.
Okay.
And just the last little thing, of course, I love my gi jacket. I went sans jacket today so you could see. I think it was a much easier time for you to be able to see where on the arm you would have the benefit of what your target is for the block. And I figured that not wearing a jacket would make it easier for you to see that. All right, if you have any questions, guardingquestdojo@gmail.com. Feel free to put a comment below. Certainly for all of our students in the Team Loya Students and Training Partners group, feel free to comment. And if you have any information that you would like to have, feel free to look up all the info we have on our website, gqdojo.com. All right, leave it there. Keep striving to be guardian strong. Strong on the inside, strong on the outside.